Hello. Okay, this goes along with the other two videos, and I'm just going to go as fast as possible just to get it over and done with. And the other thing I'll say, and this actually is going to deal directly with Monica Lewinsky and just that whole thing. So I don't know. I thought Monica Lewinsky was maybe 21 when this whole thing happened, but I guess she was actually about 24, 25 when it actually happened. I'm not entirely sure. Um, so either way, whether she was 21 years old or whether she was 25 years old, it doesn't matter. First off, the person that actually cheated, I mean, okay, I'll get this out of the way so that other people won't be saying it. But just to address this, yes, when you find yourself dealing with a married man or married woman, you should say, no, this isn't going to go any further. I'm stopping this relationship. What in the world are you doing in the first place? I'm very upset. And then you have no choice but to cut it off. And of course they'll say, I'm getting a divorce. Oh, that's what they always say. And it's always guys. It's always guys. They always say, oh, I'm getting a divorce. Oh, we're broken up. Oh, we're not living together anymore. No, 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 no. That's all a pile of crap, and they'll even sit there and berate their wives. They'll sit there and say horrible things about the very woman that they're married to. And I just got to say, if they're saying that about their current wife, what in the world are they going to be saying about you in, let's say it lasts about 5 years, let's say it lasts 10 years, but it's going to break up because he's already cheating on his first wife. Cheaters cheat. Haters hate, cheaters cheat, you know, it's the way it is. And cheaters also, you know, defend each other too. So just to let you know, druggies defend each other, grapists defend each other, um, abusive people defend each other, men and women, doesn't matter, you know. So there we go. And also, yeah, it was another world back then, but the other half of this is that, and this is where I don't understand. It's like, okay, if you're going to cheat on your spouse, why in the world did you get married in the first place? Because usually marriage equals not cheating. Usually marriage equals not cheating. So, you know, and I mean, we currently have a president in office who cheated on his wives while they were pregnant and also after they were recovering from giving birth. And I don't think he had an open marriage then, and I don't think he has an open marriage now. But here's the thing. If you, and usually it's the guy, but if you want to have an open marriage, then you need to go to your spouse and say, listen, I cannot do this monogamy thing. It is not going to work out for me. It's just not possible. I need to have an open marriage. I need to be able to, you know, have a full polyamorous, many love platter. I need to be able to have, you know, sex with people outside the marriage, anyone who I choose. And you have to be open and okay with your wife doing the same. If you're going to be like that, you have to be open and okay with your wife being, well, all right, that's fine with me. You know, I've been needing that myself, you know, and being okay with her having sex with whoever she chooses, whenever she chooses, as much as she chooses. Because if the guy is going to be doing that, you have to expect the woman to be doing that, and you have to be okay with, your wife doing that. And on top of that, and this is what you need to have discussions about in your marriage, and you need to be all right with it. And if you're going to be going into a relationship with someone who is in a marriage, then you better meet the spouse. I'm just saying, you better meet the wife usually, but you better meet the husband if you're dating the wife, and you better make sure that it is okay with them, that you are going to be intimate with their spouse, because if they're not okay with it, then you better not be, you better not be dating that person. You better make sure, and they better say, if they don't say somewhere along the way that I'm in an open marriage, I am in a polyamorous, marriage, where, and if you aren't able to meet their spouse and get the okay from their spouse, then you should not be engaging in any type of relationship with them at all, even a friendship, because guys will keep women on the line as, quote, friends, unquote. And the woman will definitely see it as a friendship, but the guy will not see it as a friendship. They'll see it as potential sex partner, even if it's in the far future, which is the problem. That is the problem right there. And sadly and terribly, a lot of people have to learn this the hard way, literally. So, you know, obviously at some point, you know, that should have been openly discussed. That should have been openly discussed. Point blank. And everyone who wants to get all up in arms about what Clinton did back in the day, you have no ground to stand on because of what the current president is doing. Mr. Rumpy Rump, um, the orange colostomy bag, uh, you know, the orange pumpkin. I don't think he had open relationships. I don't think he had open marriages, and not only that, but he's been married and divorced with several women. Clinton has only ever been married to one woman. So, let's take all of this political stuff off the table. Let's take all of this self-righteous, hating the Democrats off the table. That's just stupid. That's just point blank stupid. But for the Democrat side, let's take all this self-righteous hating the Republicans off the table too. You know, just to make sure, just to be safe. But having said all of this, literally, Monica Lewinsky was young. She was raised as most women are, especially if you're raised in a religious household at all. You're raised very, very cloistered, very, very ignorant, and you're not told about certain things such as, grape and how to protect yourself and the lies that guys tell. And obviously, the one who was cheating was Clinton. The one who was cheating was President Bill Clinton. And first off, he was the president. Even Monica Lewinsky mentions this in her podcast. He was the leader of the world. America was the leader of the world back then. It's not now, obviously, because of who was in charge. But back in, when Clinton was president, America was the leader of the world, militarily, financially, in business, and in everything. And Clinton was the leader of it. And for him to pursue anyone at all, just, let's say he was single and he was pursuing someone, that is wrong. That's like a shrink pursuing someone. And the question, by the way, you should never marry a shrink, counselor, psychiatrist, psychologist, because are you marrying them because you want to marry them, or are you marrying them because they want you to marry them? Literally. So the exact same thing with Clinton. The exact same thing. That was a power structure. And he had power, and she was a lowly unpaid intern, apparently. And he had power over her. And he had the power to fire her. He had the power to, her life ended up, he had the power to make her life absolute and total shit. And her life became absolute and total shit anyway, because of the way she was treated. She even went over to England, and she was treated horrifically over in England. That's not okay. And at the beginning, by the way, listen to the very beginning of, the very first podcast, the Monica Lewinsky podcast, and she will straight out state that she was over $1 million in legal fees in debt. And she was supposed to be able to get that money reimbursed because she was wrongfully, accused of stuff. And she didn't get reimbursed. Bush Jr. got reimbursed, Reagan got reimbursed, Clinton got reimbursed. Not completely, but he did get reimbursed for a lot of it. She got nothing. The woman, was completely and totally screwed. Even my own dad said that it looked like he was hung as bait. I mean, she was hung as bait in front of Clinton. And he, of course, being the nasty little piranha that he was, he took it. Of course he took it. He's a nasty little piranha, a nasty little shark. And of course he ate it, you know? And that means that how many other women was he harming other than her? That's the really sad and terrible part. That's what keeps on going through my head. How many other women are there? She's the known one. How many others are there? So the other part of this is, and this is the one that sadly and terribly people are going to get the most upset about, but it's fact. Monica Lewinsky was not cheating. She wasn't doing anything wrong because she was not married. She was not in a marriage. She was not even a fiance. She wasn't even, engaged to anyone at the time. She wasn't engaged. She wasn't married, so she wasn't doing anything wrong. She wasn't in any relationships at all. But guess who was? Clinton. Bill Clinton was already married. He was nationally known as being married. And he was the one who's going outside, as far as we understand it, a very closed marriage where you cannot have outside sexual partners. He was in a very closed marriage that was not polyamorous, that was not open, and he was deciding to date. As far as Monica Lewinsky was concerned, she fell in love, and she was in love with Bill Clinton, and he just happened to be the president of the United States, but he was married. It's worthless to blame it on her. He was married. What was he doing dating outside his marriage? So he was the one in the wrong here. He was the one in the wrong, not her. She didn't do anything wrong. She was courted by the president of the United States. He never should have been courting her. He never should have been courting anyone at all, whatsoever. Monica Lewinsky is a victim. And the sad and terrible thing is that I don't give a flying fuck what anyone says. She was set up like a piece of meat for a catfish. She was set up like a piece of meat. And of course, of course he ate that ass. Of course he bit, And she was in every way a victim. And the sad and terrible thing is that it ruined her life. It stopped her from being able to get any jobs. Despite her legal education, it stopped her from being able to get any jobs. It stopped her from it even ruined her test taking when she went to get her legal degree, her legal certification. Just listen to the podcast. She, even to this day, you can hear the trauma in her voice. And she isn't the only one. I can promise you she isn't the only one. Clinton isn't the only nasty, nasty, rotten little guy. And the only safety that I can say for any women out there is that if they're married, get the crap away from them, dump their ass immediately. And also, literally, don't have anything to do with any rich guys at all, because the one who will be paying is you. Don't have anything. And the only difference, poor guys do it. Homeless guys try to do it. I couldn't believe it when I found out that Stephen Hawking, who could not even wipe his own ass, he considered himself as cheating on his first wife. I don't know how, but in his own words, he bragged about cheating on his wife and some girlfriend that he had. Wow, he wasn't able, wow, he was not able to wipe his own ass. While he was having to have his own students bathe his body because he was that just, you know, incapacitated, immobile. So, and you got to ask the people around him whether or not, because when it came to Stephen Hawking, it's like, oh, holy hell, you know. But in his own little Stephen Hawking words, in his own autobiography, in his own biography, he said these things in his own little electronic voice. And that's when it finally hit me. It doesn't matter how lowly a guy is, he will try to have sex with anything and everything, and it doesn't even have to be human. That's where sex dolls come from. You know, if they want it, they will go after it. It doesn't matter if they're married. And so the only safety thing I can say for any women out there is that stay away from guys, point blank. Automatically think, and I learned this from life experience too, and from having to put up with so many friends crying on my shoulder. First off, it's always the guy. Second off, don't believe it. I don't care if you're married. I don't care if he saved you from abuse. I don't care. I don't care if he paid off all your debt. Automatically assume that he's having sex, actual flat out sex, with who knows how many women, literally. Um, and yes, women that are younger than you. I don't care. Automatically assume that. Doesn't matter what you want, just literally. That's a very safe assumption. And also, if they're rich, if they're wealthy, if they have any status at all, stay the fuck away. Because if they're poor, at least you can get away from their asses. You know? Make sure that the guy is 100% always, always, always poorer, more poor than you. Because at least you'll be able to save your reputation and name, ruin his reputation and name, because he sucks to begin with. You shouldn't have been going out with him to begin with. And you can make sure that everybody knows that. And also, because so far the guys have been ruining your reputation and name. Don't let that happen anymore. Make sure that you ruin his reputation and name, because they deserve it. They just fucking deserve it. And also, if they have no money, if they have no name and reputation, then at least you don't have to worry about the town, their family, going after you. Make sure that they don't have any connections. Make sure that the town cannot go after you. Their family cannot go after you. That they're not friends with any managers in town, so that way it won't stop you from getting any jobs. You know, always, always, always make sure to have more money and more power than the guy. 110% across the board. And I know that this is inadvertently a woman's empowerment thing, which I didn't expect it to be, but yeah, literally, this is how to save yourself. This is how to protect yourself. And since this video is going on to the 20-minute mark, I'm not going to be able to upload this on TikTok at all. I'll try, but it's not going to work. So probably all these videos are going to be on YouTube. But yeah, there you go for that. All that info. And I'm glad that I finally sat down and said this, because Monica Lewinsky needed to be defended. There are more women out there like her who are being manipulated, who are ignorant, who have been raised in very cloistered, very, hermit existence, because their families were evangelical Christian, because their families were Mormon, because their families were, just whatever, Scientologists, Catholics, just whatever, Buddhists even. and they didn't teach their daughters about this stuff. So hopefully pass this around to your friends. Obey what I've said so that you can protect yourself. Do your best to protect yourself, because those guys are going to leave you flat, and it's far better to first and foremost not get married in the first place, but then to have everything in your favor for when it does go south, literally go bad, literally. So there you go. And let's protect more people like Monica Lewinsky, and make sure that guys don't get to do this anymore, please. That's it. Bye.